rise up, make it, and then guy, rise up, make it, Mirai. I'll say it's a little strange to be doing this with the lasting impression Entei's leaving here in LA, but bags are packed and we don't sleep for Poke. Or evacuation warnings. This one immediately grabs your attention. It's never been the case to begin a champion battle with no build-up whatsoever, although here we have the kids in a Hita match against Geeta. But just a taste. It figured after the opening they would give us some context, but starting it the way they did, it was like, hey, Pokemon's back, and that was neat. The group's back in Paldea, and you can notice Liko's consistencies. The sparkle in her eyes as she talks about battles. Inside, we have chili on the grill, or rather, Rika's grilling them on their battle prowess. She puts on this stern demeanor, but breaks it pretty quick. It wouldn't be Rika without a bit of trolling. We flip to Geeta, and there the group makes their plea to pass the gate. They also put their money where their mouth is by filling the others in on their progress so far to Lakawa. Not a very strong reaction to Liko catching a legendary, though this does get me wondering if the league members will play a role in Lakawa as well. Looks like we're heavy paralleling XY, in imagery but even returning to Kalos in the upcoming game. It would be interesting if they gave us another climactic finale with the gym leaders and everyone involved. It's also here that the group learns about Paradox Pokemon for the first time, which is just a really cool gimmick for a crater formed over 1 million years ago. The group continues to plead for permission, but Geeta needs a demonstration. Area Zero must have some beasts if the group has to prove their battle strength. Now we've come full circle. Geeta's picks are Glimmet and Glamora, and you'll notice how tastefully they match your color palette. It's also a tease into the rare mons of Area Zero that they'll be coming across. Roy starts the match off, and they've got a tough target to hit. So to get a leg up, they aim for the bigger one, but Geeta's mons are well balanced. One can provide the defense while the other attacks. And the moveset is kind of stacked. One's like Power Gem to do some damage. Clever Roy decides to hit them with sound, and Crocolar's pipes can't be ignored or avoided. That disrupts them enough for what should have been an opening, although it didn't pan out that way for Dot. Meanwhile, Liko's able to pivot and think on her feet, just like Florigato. It's a great back and forth with the trio's mons getting poisoned by toxic spikes right back. Seems apparent how necessary this training is, since the Area Zero Pokemon may not let the kids stop and have a discussion in the middle of their match. Though the thought they put into this, drawing from past experiences, shows you how highly they consider Geeta. It also highlights how Horizons consistently places the kids in fights seemingly out of their league. At this point, they probably could individually be a lot of average trainers, but Geeta is definitely a group effort. Also appreciate how their Paldea battles feel like events, the way they draw audiences. I feel like putting the trio in team matches so much would realistically hinder them in one-on-ones. Something I do hope we eventually get more of, but Area Zero probably won't shake up the group format. What it does do is allow for some surprises the way Liko commands some friendly fire. It's a smart play since having Stomping Tantrum initially miss led to the move powering up, exactly what they learned from Entei. Geeta might have underestimated them by going down to one Pokemon, something she quickly corrects by terastallizing. The kids go an eye for an eye, and it looks grand, aided by the spectacular music they've used this whole time. Typically, terastallizing's been the signal of the battle's end drawing near. That, along with the way the Pokemon start to struggle, makes it evident. Still, they managed to tough it out enough to shield Florigato. Guess Cap taught them how to make sacrifices. Horizons makes you feel these attacks. The vibrancy, the shriek when it hits, even Liko's Nyarote had urgency. I thought it was game over, but the others tanking that Terra Burst weakened it enough for Florigato to make it. I believe Overgrow activates as well, so powered up we get that signature Magical Leafa, which overcomes the Terra Burst. Oh my Daka, Liko's conquered the champion. This is pretty big. Liko's really evening out her own scoreboard. Now everyone's thinking, is Geeta a fraud? Well, there's some things to consider. It's highly unlikely, of course, that any of the kids would have beaten her one-on-one. It seems like she also nerfed herself a bit by going down to one Pokemon overconfidently, and still she defeated 2 out of 3. Although, even in the games, it seems people thought that Geeta was too easy, so it's not inaccurate. If Liko won without assistance, I think it'd be a different only one story. So I don't think Geeta's the worst champion like some people are saying. Still, in my headcanon at least, Liko's a champion, and that match was truly worth a standing ovation. Having proven themselves, they're given permission to pass the Zero Gate. Pennies paved the way for the group to reach their long-standing goal of Area Zero. And gosh, it's still creepy how often the crew gets watched without their knowledge. The explorers with their evil Rotom phone are making moves as well. Poor Amethio just can't win. It looks like Gibeon's already replaced him with Coral and Sidian, both of whom are right on the RBT's tail to the great crater of Paldea. Well, the reception on this one seems mixed. Some people make the argument that Geeta held back, although I've seen in-game that's not in her nature. Is that different than what we see in the episode? No, I wouldn't say I noticed her particularly holding back. She may not be Cynthia, but no other champion's gone on screen 1v3. That'd be tough for anyone. I think it's safe to say the kids were also just on the top of their game here. Area Zero is right around the corner, and to this point, that has pretty much been their biggest life goal. The clever plays and strategies really stress that importance. To me, their slow, gradual come-up has been a pleasure to watch. It's like delayed gratification. Then we have Sango and Onyx making plays. I do hope she catches Screamtail. Not just that, I hope hope it's by her relating to it and giving us a backstory. I really need a Sango and /or Onyx focus episode. I don't know why, but I could picture Coral with a sad backstory. Not only would it match her aesthetic, but it could also be something she compensates for by being so bubbly. So, for this episode, I give it a very high B.